I guess I've gotten used to this Manchester United. It's just, this is a bad team. We've been saying this about Manchester United consistently. This is not just a rebuild. This is going to take a total demolition of the squad from Ruben Amorim.
Where did this game change today, LME? Where was it won and lost? Because Bruno Fernandes was sent off for a second yellow card, and it was a first half that meandered along. Was it the second half? What happened today?
Yeah, I think the sending off clearly what impacted the game. I mean, fair credit to Wolves. Vitor Pereira, as you began in your introduction, what he's done in these two matches. But you have to focus on the impacted sending off of Bruno Fernandes. Ruben Amorim wouldn't even look at him as he walked off. I mean, it was a really stupid way to be sent off, especially in that second yellow, because it was the beginning of the second half. There was no need to lunge and, inadvertently or directly stamp on somebody's foot, because he knows he wasn't a booking. You needed to just begin the second half, especially away from home, at least composed. And then once you have 10 men, the blueprint goes out the window, because now you really have to rely on what you have in front of you against, a Wolves side who, whether you want to call it a manager bounce or not, are determined, focused. I like what Vitor Pereira said in his press conference once joining, when he said he wants to just put all his players in the right places, guide them like a GPS, give them confidence. And that's kind of what you're seeing. And when you have 10 men, obviously the obstacle is going to be that much harder. So Bruno Fernandes' sending off became just a bigger reason for Wolves to keep on pushing. And the factor as well is look, there's some players here in this Wolves side, by the way, that I think Vitor Pereira, it's a good thing he's Portuguese and knows how to speak to both Portuguese and Brazilian stars, because, there were some good performances here. Andre in the center midfield, their number 7, was wonderful, was only 23 years old. Cunha, if they can keep him, because I bet you there's going to be some teams looking around in January, but if they can keep him, then it's going to be massive. Now, this is the last thing that I'll say before you turn it to our friend Janusz here. The Olímpico from Cunha, obviously a great Olímpico, but this is now the second time in a row United are conceding from an Olímpico. And today, I blame it on Andre Onana, because he's being sandwiched by 2 players. They're not fouling him, they're just standing there, right? So you need to do more with your footwork. You need to be more of a voice in there, because when you defend a corner, the number one voice you should hear is the goalkeeper. And I didn't hear anything but complaining from Onana. And then what happens? Cunha scores, and boom, there you have it. So Fernandes' red card was a big impact in the second half, but so many other errors that we have seen familiar with Manchester United continue to happen. So fair play to Wolves, you took care of it.
Yeah, you've touched upon the 2 main incidents in the game, probably the 2 only incidents in the game up until the second goal was scored in stoppage time. Because if we had to do a half-time report on that, it would have been 30 seconds long. It would have been a high, bye, see you later. So in the second half, he's already been booked after 18 minutes, Bruno Fernandes. Does this kind of bigger picture signal a lack of leadership, a lack of discipline at the football club, Janusz? Because that's a reckless challenge, and a reckless challenge by the letter of the law. Careless is a foul, reckless is a yellow, using excessive force / serious foul play is a red. That's a reckless challenge. It's needless. He knows he's already on a yellow. What does that tell us about him? What does it tell us about his mentality that he did this? And what does it tell us as a bigger picture about Manchester United as a whole, and the fact that this is their captain who's doing this, and knowing pretty well that it's probably going to be a second yellow, and he's going to leave his team with 10 men?
I think this is just a combination, not to excuse him, because, that's not the first time, right? This is his 3rd red card this season. 3rd.
Yeah.
Competitions, right? So it's not just that, right? He is the captain. He needs to know better. And, we can go on and on. He knows he's got a yellow. I get that. It's a level of frustration. He frustrates all of us, right? Because his body language under different managers has not always been great. People have come out saying that he probably shouldn't be a captain. Maybe he's not, but I'll tell you this. He is still, for me, the best player, right? But the frustration of playing for such a big club like Manchester United that has been a mess for such a long time was for everyone to see. And even here, as I said, I still think that appointing Ruben Amorim was a good thing. I do see a different mindset when you rebuild. from such depths of disparity, I guess. It's going to take time. There's no questions about that. Looking at the squad, as I've said, a demolition needed here. I still think Bruno Fernandes is by far the best player. If you give him players to play with, he's going to be absolutely fine. Just take a look at the games that he plays for Portugal. So should he have done better? Absolutely. Should we have an early chat about Ruben Amorim? Absolutely. Because you know what? Even though it's such a short time, this is Manchester United, and you have to, I think you have to maintain a certain standard, right? Last two games, I mean, how can you lose to Bournemouth at home 3-0, right? How can you go to see new manager Wolves who are in relegation zone, and you pretty much easily lose the game? That second goal, okay, very late, you're pushing for equalizer, but still, I mean, if he's going to pick a bone with Rashford and Garnacho, look at the way Garnacho loses that ball, right? I'm sure that's going to leave a mental note. So yes and yes and yes to everything you guys said.
Being a best player, I don't think anyone can argue with that. But he'll not be the best player against Newcastle because you can't score from free kicks or whatever when you're suspended. That's the problem here, and that's the point I'm trying to make. And I get what Janusz is saying, but LME, it's not like this is something that hasn't happened before. And I know one of them, I think, was eventually overturned. One of the red cards deemed that it was a wrong decision, but he does have a history here. The malaise that has set in at the football club, and this isn't just picking on Bruno Fernandes, okay? This is the whole football club in general. How do you fix something like this? How do you have that mentality between hunger and just sheer stupidity when you go into a challenge knowing that you're on a yellow card here? Because he's a brilliant player. I love watching him. And neutrals love watching him as well. He can do anything with the football, but not when he's suspended. Is it just frustration, or is it more than that, LME?
No, it's more than that. There is a proverbial disease going around the culture of Manchester United. There just is. You can remove Ruben Amorim and put somebody else in, and the same issues will begin. And this is why the three of us have discussed this, that yes, we can talk about the manager, but this whole squad needs to be relooked at. And because overall, the scouting of the personnel that you need to play for this club is now very, not just ordinary, but just there's this lack of, accountability. Ruben Amorim says no more, and we saluted when Marcus Rashford, is not showing enough. But then we see this happening from Bruno Fernandes. Amorim can't even look at him, and it's not the first installment. So I'm not even putting the blame on Amorim just yet. I'm just focusing on the fact that there is something much deeper here. Janusz said this is Manchester United, to the point where we'll have to remember the glorious moments of the past. But this is Manchester United, a very ordinary club who are closer to the relegation zone than they are to the top four. This is their reality. So, and also, what do you say when you hire a sporting director and then he leaves 5 or 6 months right after? There's so many things about this club that need fixing that it's gonna take a long time. I was very optimistic, too optimistic in my predictions of the first 11 matches Amorim, because I really thought that somebody like him would try and change it. But now I'm really realizing with my very open eyes here, more so than ever before, this club seriously needs a cultural change.
Hello, Reds. Welcome back to the channel where we dive into all things Manchester United. Today, we're breaking down yet another disappointing performance as Wolves defeated United 2-0. It's another frustrating day for manager Ruben Amorim as the cracks in the squad continue to show. The match started as a sluggish affair, with neither side impressing in the first half. However, the real drama unfolded in the second half when Bruno Fernandes saw red after a reckless challenge. Already on a yellow, Bruno's needless foul left United with 10 men and a mountain to climb. Wolves took full advantage of the situation, with Matheus Cunha scoring a sensational olímpico, the second United have conceded in back-to-back games. This result raises serious questions about the mentality and discipline within the squad. If you're passionate about United and want to stay updated on all the latest news and analysis, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community. Let's navigate these tough times together. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. Bruno Fernandes, the captain, has been a lightning rod for criticism after this performance. This is his third red card of the season, and while his brilliance with the ball is undeniable, his decision-making under pressure continues to hurt the team. Fans and pundits alike are asking, does Bruno have the leadership qualities to guide this team through such a turbulent period? Manager Ruben Amorim is also under the spotlight. His appointment was seen as a fresh start, but back-to-back defeats to Bournemouth and Wolves have highlighted just how far United have fallen. Amorim can only do so much with this squad, which many now believe needs a total rebuild. Poor scouting, inconsistent performances, and a lack of accountability have created a culture of mediocrity at the club. Finally, we must address Andre Onana's struggles. For the second game in a row, United conceded from a corner. Onana's lack of authority in the box allowed Wolves to capitalize. Questions over his confidence and communication with the defense are growing louder with each match. United now find themselves closer to the relegation zone than the top four. Fans are calling for sweeping changes, from the players to the structure of the club itself. Ruben Amorim may need more time, but how much patience can the fan base afford in this long and painful rebuild? We want to hear from you, Reds. What do you think about Bruno Fernandes' red card and Amorim's start at the club? Is a complete squad overhaul the only way forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's stick together through these tough times. United we stand.